What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel only if you want to. But look, my beautiful people, we got these families that secretly rule the world. See, a lot of y'all think like, oh, you know what? I'm popping. I rule the world. What I say go. No, bro. It's real people out here that run the world. They got so much money. Their hands is in so many politicians and government's pockets that it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Look up the generational wealth gaps. Look up who has the most money. But you know what? You don't even have to do that because you about to see it in this damn video. You know what I'm saying? And this should look, man. This right here should inspire people, man, to get your shit together. You feel me? But look, let's get into this video right here without further ado. Let's get this video right here like 10,000 likes and let's run it up, people. Hopefully y'all having a good day. If not, things will get better for real. Believe me.
Money, power, and fame have more influence than you think. And it gets a lot more influential when it's not just one or two people, it's a whole family. Hey, when you've got a lot of sway in the goings-on of, well, everything. That's why today we are looking at the most powerful families in the world. Some are superstars, some gained incredible wealth very quickly, and some inherited their massive fortunes. So basically, they were born billionaires. Here's a peek into the families that are secretly ruling the world, whether you want them to
or not.
First on our list is the Koch family, not to be confused with Coke
Never
as
heard
in Coca-Cola, although certainly Coca-Cola has a lot of sway too. I mean, all they have to do is threaten to halt production on everyone's favorite caffeinated beverage, and caffeine junkies would riot. But we kid. We're talking about Coke as in the Koch brothers, and their massive business, Koch Industries. To give you an idea of just how massive we're talking, Koch Industries is the second largest privately owned company in the United States. They rake in a colossal $110 billion every year in revenue. Yeah, this is the big bucks, people. Koch Industries was founded by Fred...
Bro, whole time, bro, I'm trying to make make at least 100,000. You know how many 100,000s, 100 and something billion dollars is? That's crazy.
Fred Koch in 1940, and for years it was owned by his two sons, David and Charles, known as the Koch brothers. David, who passed away last year at 79 years old, stepped down from his position due to health issues in 2018. But his brother Charles, who is 84, still acts as the CEO to this day. Just what kind of influence does the Koch family have? Well, due to some rather smart acquisitions, including the $22.5 billion purchase of Georgia Pacific in 2005, every time you buy your everyday supplies, you may well be putting money right into the pockets of the Kochs. Brawny paper towels, Quilted Northern, Dixie cups. These are all just some of the brands underneath the Koch umbrella. But it doesn't stop there. In 2012, they spent $7.5 billion to purchase Molex, an electronic components manufacturer. And in 2014, they partnered with Goldman Sachs to purchase a printing ink manufacturer known as Flint Group for a price tag of $3 billion. The Kochs are well known for donating hundreds of millions of dollars in support of conservative politicians.
Wow.
Ones that limit government, offer free trade and free markets, limit corporate regulations, and offer a more lenient immigration policy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These guys are literally pulling the strings that guide the United States because they have the money to. Next up, let's talk about...
That shit crazy. Hey, I'm telling you, look, man, when you meet some people and they say that, you know, money is power, and people be like, no, it's not. Like, money isn't everything. Those are losers, bro. Those are losers. Because money is power. Not to say you flexing on anybody, but it gets you certain privileges out here, man. And I think, like, a lot of people, it's just an excuse for them to be, like, below average, you know? I'm not saying you have to get $1 billion, but money is definitely important. So if somebody say that to you, bro, they lame.
About one of the most famous billionaires, J.P. Morgan. He was one of the most powerful bankers of his time, up until his death in 1913. But being rich ain't enough to get you on this list. And J.P. Morgan was...
But he got some very serious eyeball action going on here, if you can't tell. Like, very exaggerated eyebrows. He looks like the devil himself. Like, he looked like he was an evil person, but he's probably nice.
Oh, so much more.
No, he wasn't. He was probably a slave owner. I'll take that shit back. They said 1918, yeah.
Just rich. Mr. Morgan financed railroads and helped organize U.S. Steel, General Electric, and many more giants in the industry. His father was a wealthy banker as well, but it wasn't until Morgan formed a partnership with Philadelphia banker Anthony Drexel in 1871 and formed J.P. Morgan and Company that he started to get really, really rich. After all, this company was the predecessor to J.P. Morgan Chase. He amassed an incredible fortune of $25 billion, and he was sure to use it to tilt the system in his favor. Morgan was a mastermind of the business world and used his incredible influence to help stabilize the American financial markets during the economic scares of his day. Probably his most famous achievement was his ability to stabilize the economy during the Panic of 1907. And let's not forget the time that he saved America's gold standard by loaning the federal government $60 million. But it's well documented that Morgan's critics were quick to point out just how much power he had, and they would...
He knew what he was doing when he gave their ass $60 million, bro. Y'all forever gonna owe me. Basically, I own you, because you know how much $60 million was back then? Crazy, man. Do the math.
Say that he was manipulating the United States' financial system so that it benefited himself. Hey, in all honesty, they were probably right. Remember how he said he financed railroads? Well, he did that so often and so well that during the late 19th century, Morgan was so involved with consolidating failing railroads that he ended up controlling an estimated 1/6 of the total railroads in America. Yeah, one guy owned 1/6 of all the railroads. On top of that, he was called in to testify by the U.S. Representative Arsene Pujo, who was investigating elite Wall Streeters suspected of colluding to control the American banking industry. The result of these hearings was a little system you may have heard of, called the Federal Reserve. If you still don't think that Morgan had power, well then we don't even know what power is anymore. Here's a family you may be familiar with.
That shit crazy, bro.
Multiple members being United States presidents.
What would y'all do though? Like, say for instance, your family is worth like $300 billion. I'm just giving numbers. I'm just saying, for shit's sake. $300 billion. Come on. Do you think that you wouldn't have any influence? Do you think that these people won't be reaching out for you, like to help them in certain ventures and stuff like that? Do you think? Come on now. You already know how it is, so you'll probably be in that situation too. You just not gonna help.
One a vice president, another a TV host, and yet another being a Supreme Court justice. This is the Bush family, the very same family of former President George W. Bush, the inspiration behind the punk rock opera masterpiece by Green Day, American Idiot. Okay, but seriously, this family has a lot of power, which, for starters, is likely due to their net worth of over $400 million. Just how did they collect that much dough? Well, many members of their family were successful bankers and businessmen, which spans back 3 generations. And if you need any more proof that their power runs in the family and runs deep, remember that George H. Bush was a United States president, George W. Bush was a United States president, and Billy Bush was the host of Access Hollywood. Don't remember Billy? We bet you do. You just forgot.
I didn't know, bro, that he was like a official, like a Bush, like one of the presidential Bushes. Like, didn't know. Thought it was a regular Bush. No pun intended.
After all, the infamous tapes of a secret lewd conversation between Donald Trump and Billy Bush made all the headlines in 2016. And it ended up leading to Billy Bush being fired from Access Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
But don't feel too bad. He now works as a correspondent on the show Extra. Oh, and he's also worth $13 million. Yeah, he's doing fine. Up next is the Rothschild family.
I mean, 13, that's not... Look, man, compared to these other families, that's... And 400 million, bro, that's not impressive at all. Like, I ain't saying that's not a lot of money. Not saying that. Look, don't come for me. I'm just saying, compared to these other families, that's a penny in a jar. I thought they was richer than that.
Of $400 billion.
400 billion. See?
Let that sink in for just a second. Their total worth is $400 billion. All we can say is...
I'm telling you, that's why his ass so old. He like 200 years old, bro, still alive. Because he getting new hearts and stuff from young people like me. That's why we dying and they taking our body parts.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
They amassed this incredible fortune by creating a banking empire in the 1800s. Hey, are you starting to see a pattern here with all these banking families? Now maybe you know what line of work you should aspire to go into. This empire spanned through cities like London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples. They are one of the wealthiest and most powerful families in history. Although we should say their sway is far less than what it was in years past, mainly due to their incredible wealth being divided up between the family members. These days, the Rothschild family is still very active in the mining, financial services, agriculture, winemaking, and real estate world. In Europe, some of their incredible palaces and lavish estates still stand to this day, almost like a permanent benchmark to their outrageous fortune. To put $400 billion in perspective, when adjusted for inflation, their private wealth still hasn't been topped by anyone in the world. In fact, if you combined the wealth of Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk, you still wouldn't come close to the Rothschild family.
Didn't
They
know.
are as wealthy as anyone can get. Let's head over to our...
I knew the Rothschilds were wealthy, but I didn't like. I thought that those other celebrities had a lot more money. If they put them all together, I thought they would have more money than them. But damn, that's. But it's good. Well, they still probably into the politics and stuff too, man. I don't put it past them, bro. Like
local Walmart for our next power fam. Didn't expect us to say that? Well, maybe you didn't realize just how rich the founders, the Walton family, are, with a net worth of an astounding $169.7 billion. Wow. Sam and Bud Walton founded Walmart in 1962, and when they found that Walmart was a resounding success, they went ahead and formed Sam's Club in 1983.
Bro, look, I'm so lost in the sauce, man. I don't be, man, look. I ain't know, bro. I ain't know the Sam's Club belonged to them. And it got division of Walmart stores below. I never knew. I'm so slow.
These days, Walmart's sales top out at $500 billion. That's the highest retail revenue in the world, folks. Wow. As for how much power they have, get this. They have political draw on both parties, due to the older members of the family, like Jim Walton, being stark Republicans. After all, he gave $630,000 to Republicans or Republican affiliates in the 2008 election. And on the flip side, the younger Gen X and millennial members of the Walton family, like Christy Walton, seem to have power in the opposite direction of her elders, due to Christy forming the Lincoln Project, an anti-Trump Republican group. Let's close out our list of families today with one of the most famous fams out there. We are talking...
Hey, that shit crazy, though. Like, I think they're probably strategically doing that. So, at the end of the day, they have some type of control over, like, what happens. Because, they've been trying to tax, like, the super wealthy at a higher rate and everything else. But, they're going to have their hands in both pots. But... yeah.
Talking, of course, about the Kardashians, who have risen to one of the most powerful, famous, and wealthy families on the globe.
I don't agree with this one.
Kardashian is credited for taking her TV reality series and turning it into a global empire. She is now the star of multiple mobile games, owns her own brand of cosmetics, and most recently has launched her own shapewear business. And it's these beauty products that have catapulted her wealth up and up and up.
Bro, I'm not trying to shit on somebody's parade, but look, man, once you got your body modified, you can't sell stuff like that. That should be against the law. If you got your body modified, it's nothing. Do your thing. But you can't be selling products for body shapers and shit like that. Like, bro, you ain't get it the natural way, so you can't do that. Like, I don't agree with that, man. That's leading these young girls and people into the wrong direction. Of like what they...
Her cosmetics company, KKW Beauty, a company worth $1 billion, generated $100 million in revenue in 2019. It seems this family can't be stopped. Kim married superstar Kanye West, worth $1.3 billion himself. And don't forget that her younger half-sister Kylie is worth $1 billion. And her sister Khloe, she's worth an estimated $40 million. And look, you see where we're going with this. They're wealthy and live like it. Kim's monthly beauty expenses come to an average of $168,880. And she and her hubby Kanye recently purchased a $16 million ranch in Cody, Wyoming. Kanye even made sure to introduce himself to the mayor when they moved in. Well, there you have it. A look into the families that, by all accounts, are modern day...
Now I got questions for y'all, man. Like, would you like to be one of these? Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest, man. I should do a poll on this shit. Would you rather be like, how would you be your personality and everything if you were born into one of these wealthy families? Do you think that your actions of today, not talking about money and nothing, I'm just talking about your character and who you are as a person, if you were raised like that, born into this type of thing, do you think that you would be the same person character wise and just everything about you internally as it is now? Do you think that money changes your outlook on life? Me personally, I think that if I was born into that, I would probably be a lot different, because I probably wouldn't have learned like the struggle and what other people go through. So I probably wouldn't be able to relate. Probably wouldn't have no empathy or sympathy for people that were had less, you know? Just because you have money is not, look, it doesn't mean that you're a piece of shit because you don't have money. But it does bring certain luxuries to your life, and that's what we're all trying to get. So if people tell you they're not trying to get money, it's a lie, bro. It's a lie. And I'd rather not talk to you anymore if you say some stupid shit like that to me. But at the end of the day, I see you on the next video. And like I always say, man, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. See you on the next video. And I'm out.